as the blue Protoss. And in the top right corner, we have Radley as the purple Terran. And the map is Match Point. One of my favorite maps. Should be good.
Yeah, Asmodey's not a bad player, right? I think he's one of the better players in this tournament.
The only way I know Asmodey is he played in ISL 3 qualifiers.
Yeah, same.
And he
I saw him there too.
He didn't qualify, but he didn't play that badly either.
Yeah.
And this is not the Asmodey. I think this Asmodey is Ukrainian too, but he's not the Ukrainian who went to Korea in like 1998 and played in the very first professional Brood War matches. Although, when I found out that I would be casting Asmodey, it inspired me to go back and watch 1999 VODs of Asmodey.
Yeah, I believe.
Those games are so good. And by so good, I mean so bad. Because their late game armies are like 70 supply, and Protoss just has like 2 of every unit against Terran. It was like 2 Archon, 2 DT, 5 Zealot, 4 Dragoon. Mess. And it was really funny watching them try to play StarCraft back then. Good stuff. If you have 20 minutes to burn, I would recommend go looking up an Asmodey VOD and watching it and see how far we have come.
I always imagine how it would be if you would turn back in time now with your knowledge of this game and your skills, and like everybody would go crazy.
Yo, I think I could win an OSL.
Yeah.
I think I could win an OSL. Like the first OSL, just bust out Bisu build and everybody goes, "What is this madness?"
Yeah, that would be so fun.
You could win like the first 5 OSLs. Easy peasy.
Maybe.
Because if I did it, it's just like I could only win through they wouldn't understand what was going on. But after a season, they'd pick up my strategies. You'd still be able to micro your way to like the platinum mouse. All right.
Oh, Terran is losing an SCV early.
Oh. So we did.
Not a safe wall in. He was able to drive through with his probe.
Yeah, I think it is possible to make a tight wall in this map, but you can't have the barracks by the wall. I think it has to be supply depot here and then barracks lower down at this position, and it would be tight. If I remember my Terran walls. I'm much better with Protoss walls than I am with Terran ones.
Yeah, you don't have to ask me. I have crappy wall-ins, as you know.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We know, man. It doesn't matter. If you win, you don't need wall-ins.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like,
It's true.
can't argue with success.
Yeah.
So, we do see Asmodey is, he did not go for first Zealot, but did make his first Goon before range. So gonna get that a little bit faster, and well, he should be able to pick up this SCV. Not quite gonna be able to get it in the base, but if he chases it down, eventually he will pick it off. And meanwhile, Radley's going for a 2-fact. For as much clout as the 2-fact gets, you often don't see it in higher level games, but it is very prevalent in the C-rank tournament. We've seen quite a few 2-facts already. We'll see how well Asmodey is able to hold it off. He does manage to pick off that SCV with the Goon. Radley is actually pretty far out with his Marines. 2 Marines probably can't beat that Goon. Now they will be pulling back. That's obviously not a tight wall for Marines, but it should be tight for the Dragoon. The factories are built really close to the wall. Do you think that the Dragoon might be able to see the 2-fact?
If he runs like very near to the supply depot, he's definitely going to see that, but I don't think he will, so I don't think he's going to see it. And what is very interesting that the Protoss is doing a fast expansion, and I think 2 factory is very strong against that on this map. Since you can like siege up downhill, and Protoss gonna have big problems to attack on the bridge.
Oh man,
or clean it.
Asmodey now migrating to the last second there, barely gets out with one of the Goons. The other Goon is not going to get out of there. The Vulture's able to run it down. That Vulture can pick off the other goon too. It only has 13 health.
That is so dangerous right now, especially in this spot with these 2 builds. He can't afford to lose at least even 1 goon, and now he's about to lose a second one. So
yeah, that has to be more strong than an FD. Maybe not. Maybe it could look like an FD, but Asmodey lets his Nexus finish. Given that's a 2-fact, it might have been the better option to cancel it, because this is going to be very hard to hold off, but might not have quite realized that it's a true fact, not a fake 2-fact. And man, this is going to be hard. There are some Marines down.
Some Zealots.
Wow. Early Zealots coming out here. Are the Zealots going to be able to do anything? Yes! Oh, a huge mind drag from that Zealot. Takes out the tank, injures the Vulture. The other Vulture's going to go down. And Radley, he does have another tank on the way now, but that's really going to slow down his his push here. He doesn't have that high ground anymore. Man. It looks like Radley's going to be coming up around top. So, taking a little bit of a longer path, but he doesn't have to fight up this ramp. A smart move from him. Is it going to be enough, though? Just a tank and 2 Vultures? There's another tank now, so 2 tanks, 2 Vultures.
I think now with this mine hitting his tank, I don't think he... Oh, but Protoss is not paying too much attention. So this changes things. Maybe he's able to break through.
Maybe. Lost all of the Vultures? There we go. All the Vultures are now gone, but the tanks are still alive, and the goons have been pushed back. We have not seen siege mode from him, and those SCVs cannot repair the tanks fast enough to really deal with the Dragoons. So I think Asmodey's going to be able to handle this as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes in terms of running into mines or running into siege mode once that siege mode finishes. It's, it just started now. So it still has a little bit of a ways to go. Dragoon stepping forward. Oh, that was a very close mine. Now one Dragoon stepping out on its own. It's going to be able to tank more mine hits. Oh!
Oh, wow.
Big mine there, taking out 2 Dragoons, hitting a 3rd. But now there's only 1 tank left versus the 2 Dragoons. That tank is going to go down. There are no more tanks, but here come a couple of Vultures. They're going to be able to lay mines. Going to be able to keep the goons away from the missile turret. Is there another tank on the way? I don't see one. It's just Vultures. The Vulture's now running into the main, going to try to get some probe kills. Oh man, no, does not get any, but Radley hasn't lost his position. Man, 2 more Vultures moving into the natural. Man, these mines are really hindering the goon movement at this point. Asmodey did build some Zealots earlier to deal with the mines. I wonder if he'll consider doing it again. Ooh, probes managed to take out that 1 Vulture before it could get away. But has Radley just switched into pure Vulture production? Another 3 Vultures are coming, and then more. Yeah, he is not making any tanks. It is nothing but Vultures at this point. I don't know. As you said, this map does really work well for aggressive siege tanks, because you can hit the natural nexus from the low ground, and it's very hard for Protoss to deal with at times.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. If he keeps attacking with these Vultures, he's not getting many goon kills, so the goon numbers are just raising, where Radley's forces aren't. He's just throwing away every Vulture he makes. Now he's finally getting a tank out, but he's going to have to play it defensively. And is he going to expand? Yeah, he's only now expanding, so I don't know. I think that because Protoss didn't lose too many probes, didn't lose the natural nexus, I like Protoss's position here.
Yeah, definitely. With adding a 3rd factory, this was basically an all-in, because he didn't decide to go an expansion after 2 factory. So I think he's far behind right now, because Protoss got his expansion running for long, his CC is on 700. So yeah, he's very far behind if you ask me.
Well, Observer Tech is up. First Observer is out for Asmodey. So those mines are not going to be doing too much more damage. Or at least they shouldn't be. As long as Asmodey's careful about it. He does have his Citadel down. Probably to start leg speed. I don't think he's going to go for that quick of Templars, but he hasn't quite started speed yet. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Taking his second gas. Radley is expanding now, and I mean, 2 siege tanks and 2 building wall. That's going to be a pretty good defense against what Asmodey can do for a while. Asmodey is better off what he's doing right now, just taking a 3rd base, and as long as he doesn't fall victim to vulture harass, it's going to be absolutely fine here. And looks like he is really preparing against it. He has a nice handful of goons protecting the expansion from going out before probes are transferred, and then a huge bottleneck of goons at his natural just to stop the vulture run by.
Yeah, that's the smartest thing to do right here, I think. Taking another expansion, don't try to go crazy for kill him right now and probably waste a lot of units, so I like this decision to go for another Nexus. But he should add some more gateways, if you ask me. He only has 3, okay, 4 with the one at his natural. But with 2 expansions he should have like at least 8 gateways, so let's see when he decides to add more gateways. It's very important. But he's still ahead, obviously.
Man, that dog is loud. Nope, speed's gonna be finishing up soon. Yeah, you are right. He definitely could be using some more gateways at this point. I think it's not going to be an issue for him necessarily, because he hasn't been trading away his goons, so he doesn't need to be remaxing. But as soon as the combat does start, he's definitely going to want to have those gateways already started. Oh boy, that mine got a little bit close there. And now Radley's moving out. That's actually a very small force from Radley to try to deal with this many goons. And speed lots? Well, only 1 zealot. Still, though, that's only 5 tanks with not exactly a huge number of vultures. Excuse me, 7 tanks. There are 2 more back here. I think Radley needs to be very careful at this point. It's going to be very easy for Asmodey to find a good angle and do a lot of damage to that tank count when it's out in the middle of the map. But he did sneak in with a couple vultures here, scoring probe kills up to 4? 5 now? I believe that's 6. So finally starting to get some damage done with his harassing vultures, up to about 8 kills. Alright. So, yeah, before when you first mentioned the lack of gateways, I was thinking it was kind of okay because he had just expanded and wasn't being an engagement. But now it's definitely getting to the point of the game where it's not just an opinion on when you should be making gateways. He really is just going to be suffering off of only 4 gateways.
Yeah,
5 gateways.
By now he could add like 6 or 8 gateways and could product from all of them, but you don't want to have only 1 more gateway, then the Terran has factories, you're gonna lose pretty fast. So yeah.
I'm actually surprised how low he's been able to keep his money, considering so few gateways. Because it's, I mean,
yeah,
it's
that's
at 1k, 1k, and that's, I mean, that's not exactly low, but it's not where you would expect it to be. I think his probe saturation isn't the best. He's not making probes at his main, and he's not making probes at his 3rd. Or now he's making probes at his 3rd, but he wasn't before. So I think his probe production slipped a little bit in there, or he just found his stopping point a little bit sooner than most Protosses do. Huh. And Radley's managed to make that center a very well defended piece of land. There's a lot of siege tanks have to burn through, but it is just siege tanks. It's going to be susceptible to speed lots if Asmodey transitions into a lot of speed lot production. Doesn't have so many right now. It looks like about 8 to 10 if you add them all up, but Templar Archive's done, Stargate on the way. So we'll be adding Arbiters. It's he has an observer. He has 2 observers over the Terran army, and it's a little bit tempting to just attack it before Radley has an appropriate number of vultures to defend. But I think the smart move here is to just ignore that and to wait for arbiters. But Radley's going to be getting into that position. Is he going to siege up the low ground, or is he going to try to go up the ramp? Oh. Maybe Radley doesn't know that his siege tanks can hit the nexus from down here and he doesn't need to go up. He's backing off a little bit near the spot where he needs to be sieging up to hit the nexus, but not quite on there. And now the zealots do manage to kill off a couple of tanks, but he could definitely reposition. He has an engineering bay over, and now he is going to be getting his siege tanks into position. The goons can fire from the high ground onto the tanks, but that's not going to be terribly effective, as he can't get too many in there at the same time. Man, DT, oh, a DT. Well, it gets hit by one mine, but there we go. Taken out with the scan. But he didn't take out enough siege tanks, and now these siege tanks are really starting to plow away. Taking out a lot of the probes, has taken a shot on the nexus. Asmodey's throwing away a lot of units trying to deal with this threat, but he needs to be careful off of so few gateways. He won't be able to replenish his army in the way he needs to, and Radley's stronger force might be able to come and crush his third, but at the same time, Asmodey does still have a lot of dragoons left. Not exactly sure how he wants to use them at the moment, but he does have a lot of dragoons. He has thrown down some more gateways, does have the Arbiter Tribunal up, has not started his first Arbiter though. He should be trying to produce that as fast as possible. I don't see the starport for Radley, so Science Festivals won't be for quite a while.
Yeah, this has gotten pretty interesting. I'm surprised that Terran is able to put pressure on Protoss since he had such an advantage, as we mentioned earlier. And yeah, but you see how imbalanced it is to just close the middle, so he can run there, and like the bridge is shitty to attack on, as you see right here. So it's a very complicated thing right now to hold this attack.
Yeah, it's definitely a map that if you allow your opponent to take good map position, it will punish you for the entire game. And Asmodey is learning that the hard way at this point. More siege tanks sieging up. They're actually sieging up a little bit far forward, as if he wants to try to go up the ramp. I think that if he was to just hold farther back, it might be a little bit stronger of a position, but at the same time, Asmodey just cannot get down that ramp effectively. He's going to have to figure out something, though, because he cannot afford to lose his natural, really. Well, there goes the natural. And Asmodey with the backstab? Oh, man. SCV scouts it out. This could be a very risky move, trying to send the entire army around. I doubt that it's going to be a flank on Radley forces, but Radley's getting into position. He's going to have this high ground. This high ground is going to be absolutely impossible for Asmodey to deal with, but Asmodey's going to go for it anyway. Oh, he's got to back off. Okay, didn't cost him that much. Could have been a lot worse there. God, that's a brutal position for tanks to be on. Well, meanwhile, Radley, realizing that the army's completely out of position now, is able to move up that ramp, take a strong position separating the third from the natural, and we'll be able to take out this third as well. Lots of probes going down with a volley of tank fire. The Nexus, I don't know how he can possibly save that from going down. It goes down as well, meaning that Asmodey's reduced to only 2 bases. And man, Asmodey is just passive, just being passive, and it's costing him the game at this point. God, it's almost like he's trying to play refugee toss. Just kind of avoiding the Terran, trying to work around them, expanding as far away from the Terran army as possible, but to no end. It's just refugee toss for the sake of refugeeing. That's a word. That's definitely a word.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, what you see, Terran is still only on 5 factory, was having 3 bases right now. So there you see that Protoss haven't had enough gateways, as we said earlier. because otherwise the Terran wouldn't have a chance with killing him with 5 factories only. Even though he had a good placement and such, but yeah, the unit count was also too low for, and the speed which he could product the units was too slow, since he only had this little gateway count. So I think so that also was a matchmaker at this game.
Well, Radley's now moving in, taking up position on the high ground. There isn't a third base for him to be able to siege down. That's already gone. But by setting up his army here, it does make it very easy to send a handful of tanks to take out top left. Possibly send some vultures to take out the 12 o'clock. And man, what's Asmodey's plan here? I don't see what he's trying to do at this point. His main's now mined out. He is once again on 2 mining bases, but one of those mining bases only has 4 probes mining. I don't know. Looks like Asmodey once again is going to try to avoid the Terran force, at least with a portion of his army. Goons are doing some serious mine clearing here, even picking off a tank. Is Radley going to react to this? He's going to be forced to, now that the rest of the army's coming up. Looks like Radley's defending as if Asmodey just wants to attack from behind. That doesn't provide any better attacking path than this one, really. I think Asmodey's better off doing exactly what he is and ignoring the Terran force. Maybe he can get something going if Radley's army's out of position for an attack. But he doesn't have the economy to really remax in the way Protoss wants to, so he can't afford to lose this army and not take out a significant portion of the Terrans. Command center does go down. That's 1 base down of Radley's. He's mined out in his main. So that leaves Radley with 2 bases of his own. So 2 base versus 2 base. Well, it's about to be 1 base versus 2 bases. Radley can't defend this one either. Now it looks like Radley's caught in the passive trap, as he's losing 2 of his expansions, killing absolutely nothing in the process. He is sending a handful of units down to try to attack Protoss's main, clearing out the stuff in the natural first. Man, and Asmodey does clear up all the SCVs there. No way they can get back through all of those Dragoons. Whoa. Why are there 8 probes just chilling at the 12 o'clock? Oh, they were transferred.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They were transferred away from this base, but he just hasn't put them back on mining. Well, it's an odd game. It's 1 base versus 1 base.
Yeah, very strange game.
But it's 1 base that Terrans definitely has the advantage here. A decent supply lead, coupled with the fact that they're really just... If they just keep trading bases like this, Terran will be able to destroy Protoss first, as Terran is already working on Protoss's main. And it looks like Protoss is now going in for the attack. Very nice stasises. First one pretty good, second one very good, and that's so many Dragoons to deal with. This is the Dragoon force that has been building since the very early game that Radley really just didn't kill very many of, because Asmodey never attacked with them, and now a great engagement for him. He's actually going to be able to clean up the Terran army.
Unbelievable.
I'm really surprised by that, but Radley's army was a little bit too fragmented. He had some tanks up here, he obviously had this army down here, but this army is taking out the main. So will it matter? Will it matter? Radley's going to be on 1 base with no tech and no gateways if these tanks are able to finish. Doesn't look like the tanks will be able to clean up quite everything, but they still did do a good amount of damage. There are only, well, 4 gateways left. You really don't need more than 4 gateways if your opponent has, or if you only have 1 expansion. Oh, man. Looking up the upgrades, we have 1-1 for Terran compared to 2-0 for Protoss. So pretty similar upgrades. Not a really big advantage for either player there.
Terran is pushing his last expansion right now. He has seen it with his CC. He wanted to expand there for himself, so Now Protoss got to do something and save that very fast, since this is their last mining base.
Protoss was able to crush the last engagement. Will they be able to get another good engagement here? If they are, they might be. That might be enough to win the game. In fact, if this Terran army goes down, there's not a whole lot of tanks. 1-0. He stays at the Goliaths. No, if he had stasis, those 6 tanks, he would have been able to win that battle easily. Does he have another stasis? He does have an Arbiter with nearly 2 stasises, but he needs to get in there now. He's about to lose all of his probes to the Vultures. In fact, I don't think he can save the Poachers, but Asmodey does not want to engage. I don't think he realized how few tanks Radley really had there. Oh, man. The pacifism.
And as you mentioned, 1 stasis on the tanks, and he easily would have won this engagement.
Asmodey's pacifism getting the best of him. All the probes have gone down at this base. The Nexus is going down too. We do have a Nexus back up at the Natural. Asmodey will be able to mine to some extent. It looks like only 8 or so probes. But it doesn't mean...
Now he's counter-attacking Terran again at his third.
Yep. I don't know.
Oh, this is such a strange game. Very interesting.
Man, I think Asmodey blew it. It's going to be really hard for him to get back into this game. You needed a miracle engagement. He needs an miracle engagement to get back into it. But a stasis on 6 tanks out of 7 would have been that miracle that he needed.
Yes.
It's like, oh, Radley nearly gave him the opportunity. Nearly gave him the opportunity, but not quite. And now... I mean, he's not out of it, but Asmodey, he's still 1 base Protoss versus 2 base Terrans.
We maybe have a recall. I think so.
We have a recall? I don't... Nope, there we
There's
go.
There's Arbiter in the main. Yeah, oh, come on, bites. Wow, 1 mine hits.
Man, I don't like the option to recall. The Dragoons are not firing. Not a single Dragoon is firing.
Oh, he's losing an Arbiter with 200 energy.
No. There we go!
And another recall.
The double recall. The Dragoons finally start firing when there's only 3 of them left. But there's just not enough here. He can't... Oh, the recall. The recall is good when you can remax immediately and you just need to throw away units. Not when you can't remax. This is not the time to be recalling. Oh, man. Man, even when the Dragoons are in the middle of the Terran's base, they still are committed to their vow of pacifism. What honorable soldiers. Or, I guess you can't really call them soldiers if they don't shoot, but... what honorable individuals.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Alright. With that, Asmodey can't remax. Or can't...
No.
Certainly not remax. I don't think he ever reached max, but he can't rebuild an army. He does have 3 bases up, but... It's not... Radley is in a move position at this point. There's no way he can throw this game now. Oh, Asmodey. So close. Yet so far.
This has been such a back and forth game. I mean, when you remember the beginning of this match, Terran failed his refactory build big time, and yeah, with 2 people on the same skill level, it's almost an instant loss. Then Terran seemed to come back, and Terran came back GG. Yeah. It's a very crazy game.
Yeah. It really just shows you how much of StarCraft is capitalizing on advantages.
Yes.
Whether it be the economic advantage he had after holding off the 3-fact, or minor advantages from battle to battle. And Asmodey just couldn't capitalize, and Radley played a really solid game.
Definitely. Nice game.
Alright. Going in.